Two Jack Bros! Two Jack Bros!
Welcome back to Two Jack Bros. And if it is your first time, thank you. Welcome to you, and thank you for giving us a shot. I am Sidney. I am sitting next to the world champ over here, Ansley.
Hello.
And today our guest is none other than the Dorian Vasquez.
All right. Thanks for having me.
Hell yeah, man. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, no, it's a pleasure.
Yeah, happy to have you, man.
I was happy to be early. That was.
Oh yeah, yes. So far, the earliest comedian to ever show up for a recording of Two Jack Bros. You showed up on time.
Yeah. I didn't realize being a professional was like an anti-comedian thing to do.
Yeah, you set a record. Yeah, so before we get started, I want to remind you guys to check out Dorian's production company, Baby Goblin Productions, working on their first feature film, Porch Pirate.
Yeah.
That's pretty exciting.
Yeah, hopefully we'll be done by the end of this, by the end of 2023.
Yeah, I feel like people who make movies are like general contractors. Like they say by the end of 2023, but...
Oh, yeah, no.
Yeah.
that or I'm going to do like what every other filmmaker did. I'm going to get through 3 years and then just be like, you know what? No. Just like throw it away.
General contractor shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's exciting. So check out that Baby Goblin Productions. Be on the lookout for Porch Pirate forthcoming. Right?
Forthcoming.
Yeah.
Forthcoming. Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, so Dorian, do you know what we do on this podcast?
Yeah, I was watching a little bit of it, and I call it the Dow Day Sid at
Okay.
this point. It's
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
So
chakras and such.
yeah, chakras and such. That's us. that should be the name of the podcast. Chakras and such. With like and such, like all
Much
caps.
bigger. Yeah.
Mostly and such.
Yeah.
But so if it is your first time tuning in, the basic premise of this podcast is to prove that you can have any type of sense of humor and still reach enlightenment or a higher consciousness. And what we're going to do is take our guest, who today is you, Dorian,
Yep.
through the process of enlightenment so that our listeners and watchers can reach a higher consciousness, as well as Ansley and me, without having to do the hard work that you're about to do. You're okay with that?
Yeah, let's do it.
Hell yeah. Let's get into it. So everybody gets the same questions. Ansley, let's get it.
Okay. So Dorian, what situation or event did you learn the most information from?
Ooh. I don't know if it's one event, but just the collective every time my car fucks up. Like, yeah, I don't know. Like, growing up, it was like, we had the hometown mechanic, and then I tried taking my car to a mechanic and realized, oh, I'm going to be poor because they're just going to keep charging me for stuff I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
So having to learn my car made me like realize, oh, I'm getting scammed.
Yeah.
I should learn my car. If I do this myself, I never have to rely on anybody, and therefore never have to pay people to do shit for me.
Yeah.
And also, I just look so much more badass than my friend. And it was just one of those moments of like, yeah, now my starter just like blew out the other day, and I've had my car die enough times where I'm just like, oh, I know exactly what that is. And it's the first time I got to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, I just impressed myself.
Nice.
Yeah.
Like, I know what this is. And it was just like, all right, fixing things.
Okay, so you know a pretty decent amount about fixing cars. I guess like the things that a person can fix.
Yeah.
Right?
Honestly, that's probably I mean, like you're doing a podcast in the house, like like one of the first big DIY things to do is learning how to fix problems for the thing you have or the thing you like doing. And I think like for me, it was like, oh, we don't live in our old neighborhood where I could call the guy that lived down the block.
Mm-hmm.
Around here, everybody's, like in the neighborhood, it was like, oh, I can take to my brother, but we're not on speaking terms. So I could take to this guy and I don't know if he's going to do a good job, or I could just, let me just pop the hood and figure it out.
Yeah, that kind of reminds me of like an old foregone era where if you wanted to get a problem fixed, you had to fix a family problem first.
Yeah. Oh, it's the worst. It's like, no, it really is. It's like, hey, so remember that thing? Look, all right, I'm sorry. Also, the car stopped working. You think it's like, then you just get the door slammed. The audacity.
Yeah, you were right. By the way, do you still have that car lift that you had? No, not related.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty. So, I take it then you have what some people would call, not us because we're very good people, but what some people would call a shittier car.
No, actually, I have a great car. It's a 2004 Toyota Solara. It's actually like. It's a Toyota, so I'm like, every time something dies on it, I'm like, no, you're a Toyota, you're gonna fucking work. And it's like,
Okay.
it does once you fix the problem. It's just an
Yeah.
older car is what it is.
Yeah.
So I mean, because that is a tough sell. I was like, "Do you have a shittier car?" And you were like, "No, I have a 2004." And then my brain was like, "Dot dot dot." Wait,
Yeah.
wait,
No,
what?
like and honestly, that's fair because everyone's like, oh, it's an older car, but I got an older car with like no miles on it. I bought it during COVID, and it was like a old guy who was like,
It was quarantining. The car was quarantining.
no shit though. It's like it was the equivalent to like a mum car where it's like the actual owner was like in his 80s, and it was his caretaker that was selling it for him.
Okay.
He's like, well, we're gonna move to a place where we don't even need a car, so it's like I got it for like $2,000
Yeah.
in like the summer of 2020.
And before the guy died and the car was haunted.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, yeah, he gets to take his Alzheimer's to Arizona or whatever, and I
Yeah.
get to just ride his old car with 40,000 miles on it.
That's pretty sick.
2004. And I'm like, yeah.
That works.
Anytime that's why I'm like, oh, if anytime something breaks on, I'm like, oh no, I still at least have hope the car works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
You
like,
bought a non-haunted car from what I'm imagining is a Scooby-Doo character.
yeah, basically. Like, right now he's trolling a candy store or whatever.
All right. So if you had to distill what it is that you took from the cumulative experience of every time your car has broken down, what is that?
It's funny because we were just talking about this like a second ago. It's learning how to just be calm in a situation and figure stuff out.
Mm-hmm.
Because I still do this. I'm bad at this. I dwell on shit a lot where, like, I'll kick a tire, I'll, like, scream at God, and be like, why are you fucking with me this week? I'm one of those guys.
Yeah.
And then it's like, well, it's not getting the car fixed.
Mm.
It's the most honest you have to be with yourself, because doing all that is doing nothing but wasting time. It's like if the sun's going down, if the weather's bad outside, either way we have to get moving.
Mm.
So no matter what, you have to still fix this. And it's like one of those things, like once I'm in that mode, then it's like, ooh, okay, now let's look under the hood.
Yeah. All right. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's now let's look under the hood. I agree with that, by the way. I agree. Take a moment, collect yourself.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, everybody's made a problem. I've definitely made problems worse as a kid. It's like, and I learned that about myself early. Like I lost a game, like at a video game or whatever, and then I threw the controller and then I break the controller.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it's like, and it's just your dad being like, well, congratulations, now you don't have a fucking control. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not taking you to the store.
Yeah.
You better save your money and go get one, go mow a lawn or something.
Okay.
So it's like, yeah, good. That's how you're supposed to learn.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. All right. Take a moment, then look under the hood. I like that. That's good life advice.
Yeah.
All right. So now from this point on, Dorian, by the way, thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
So what we do from this point on is we open up your chakras, as you know, from the bottom chakra up.
Yeah.
The first chakra is known as the root chakra. And Dorian, it is located right there in the butthole. Are you okay with that?
Let's open my butthole.
All right. Well, we're going to open up the chakra in the butthole, Dorian. I'll be very clear about that.
Yeah, that's why I went to the bathroom twice.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's more than consent. By the
Yeah.
way, I think we're good.
Yeah. You're right.
We can
Under
proceed.
the hood. All right. Dorian, how did you learn to overcome fear?
Ooh, that's a good one. I think having one of the worst things that could possibly happen in a situation kind of helps you overcome fear.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mhm.
for me, that would have been actually earlier this year. This would have been probably, I want to say maybe October.
Okay.
Uh,
Was it Halloween?
no, it was not.
Yeah.
It was like, but it was no. I'm sorry. It would have been like September, October. It was somewhere around there, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
It
still
was
sounds
the
like it could have been
fall.
Halloween.
Yeah, it could have been Halloween.
That triangulated closer to Halloween, if you
Yeah.
noticed. But go ahead.
But it was I had fucked up at work,
Mm.
and I'm in the stagehands union now. So and I learned a lot over the year. Like in the last year, I became a rigger, which is
Whoa.
the guys who.
Rigga.
Yeah. Whoa, hard on. Yeah.
In this house, we say rigga. Okay, go ahead. Proceed.
The rigger, the jizza. Nah,
Yeah.
Yeah, but learning how to rig, which is basically pulling up points, all the motors that hold up all the TVs and steel at every concert.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I do. I'm there. Which is just a guy in a harness at like on a beam or on a piece of steel, pulling this thing up with a rope.
Okay.
And
like, is it a pulley system or are you bearing the weight of it?
No,
Do you need
depending on the job, like at if it's over a certain amount, a certain height, you're pulling it up yourself. Like if it's over 100 feet, someone's helping you, but otherwise you're just pulling stuff up yourself. And these are like 1-ton motors, 2-ton motors.
Yeah.
Half ton. Anyway, I had been doing it maybe like a couple months. And one of the things was they always stress safety because you can kill somebody if something falls.
Yeah, for sure.
And they had me undo a fall arrest, which is like, it's literally like there to like, if someone has to strap in, if they fall, it's like a yo-yo that catches them in the air. And when I undid it, I accidentally dropped the pin that connects the entire thing together.
Oh my God. Did you like grab onto everything?
Yeah, no, it's funny because it was one of those moments where it happened in slow motion in my mind.
Yeah.
And where it's like, this was at the Wells Fargo Center. I'm like, you're 105 feet in the air. I'm pulling everything up to undo this thing, and I'm trying to do it, like put it back together, and my hands are slipping. The thing falls out of my hand, and it felt like an hour of this thing just falling. And the guy at the bottom, I'm like trying to scream, but I'm just like, because I'm just watching.
Trying to scream, but don't want to get fired. I get it.
And then it finally comes out, pin! And everyone's like, get the fuck out of it. And I don't realize who it is because the guy, it's like a guy's, like this thing is falling and it's a guy just kind of walking. And I find out it's the head of not only our department, but the national.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is he wearing a hard hat?
Yeah, of course he is.
Thank God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this thing
OSHA
falls,
compliant.
It falls right next to him. It bounces up and hits him in the leg. So it's not too much force, but it's a heavy pin. It bounces up, it taps him in the leg. And I guess it like just broke the skin. But in my mind,
whole pause.
Yeah.
It bounced up, it hit him in the leg.
Yeah.
Not hard, it brushed him, bounced up, tapped him in the leg. And I guess it broke the skin. What?
Yeah. Well,
let's go with the first one. It hit him in the leg.
It hit him in the leg.
Yeah. It pierced his leg.
But at the same time, like, look, I know I fucked up. Like, it's one of those things, but like in that moment, I've never been more afraid in my life because if this had hit him, even with a hard hat, if it hit him in the head or if it hit him in the shoulder, I'm like, oh, fuck. And it's funny because it's the only time I've ever really had a panic attack because the entire time I'm like, someone get me off this fucking beam. Someone come grab this right now because I'm like, oh, fuck. It was like maybe like not even a foot away from almost killing.
Yeah. Well, how big is the
of
pin?
my bosses.
Yeah.
How big is this pin?
It's a 5/8 pin, so it's about that big.
Yeah.
Like diameters. Yeah, it's like a ring almost. Like it's, but it's heavy. It's made out of
How much
steel.
would you say that it weighed?
The pin alone, maybe like not even a pound. Maybe like a quarter of a pound or a half pound. Something. But it's
dropping 100 feet.
Yeah, 100
But
feet.
it's dropping 100 feet in the air.
105 feet, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And are you like you're holding everything together? Like
Yeah.
you can't come
And
down
That's the other thing
because-
too is I'm holding everything else,
Yeah.
including the shackle for the pin, which is
Yeah.
like when that fell, it's like I need some. They were like, somebody go relieve him, because when they were like, what the fuck happened? Who dropped it? Most guys.
That's not important right now, guys.
But could come
No.
in.
No, I copped to it immediately, and I think that's what let me keep rigging.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I immediately went, it was me. Someone get me off this beam. Like right now, I need to not be up here.
Yeah.
And dude came, he relieved me from the thing. They ended up getting it fixed, ran the pin back up. And when I got downstairs, the guy was fucking laughing.
Okay.
He was like, like, it was like one of those, dickhead kind of moments. But for me, they were like, are you okay? And I'm like, yeah, I almost fucking killed somebody. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like that for the next like couple times. Like I'm still gonna take the calls because they pay very well. But they were like, we're not gonna send you on the beam. Then it's like a couple months pass. I'm good again.
Yeah.
I've been going up, and it was just my other bosses. Everyone knows the story, so now it's just everyone fucking with me.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And then I'm slowly finding out, oh yeah, everybody does that.
Yeah.
Everybody's dropped something. But they're like, I'll tell you this much though, you will never drop anything again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's like, God, the fear and like the anxiety you go through is crazy.
Yeah. And
More so than actually walking on a beam.
yeah, those environments are very like you said, like how you were saying when we asked you the first question, like just fix it, just get under, like then look under the hood. Like those environments are very much that way where people don't really quibble over what could have happened.
Yeah,
because there's so
you
much
gotta
that
keep
needs
moving.
to keep getting done. And there's not a lot of women in that environment, so.
Oh, actually, there are.
I know. I was just being sexist.
No, yeah, that's funny though. But it's
Yeah.
one of those things like it's one of those things that made me realize whenever my dad or my older brother would be like, "This is what being a man is."
Mm-hmm.
That finally helped me realize it. It's all right, we can't dwell on shit. We got to keep going. There's still things to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, can you remember a time in your life, Dorian, when you were the most scared?
I'll say that was the moment.
When you almost got a body?
Huh?
You almost caught a body?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And honestly, it was like, and it was for something that was very stupid because, like, I wasn't being cocky, but I kind of was because I'm all like, oh yeah, heights don't fucking bother me. Because I was doing stupid shit. Like the first couple times, they were like, you're not bothered about being up there, which doesn't bother me. Heights don't bother me. If you have like you just have to pretend the rest of the beam is a floor, so you don't feel like you're gonna fall.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or you have to look down and just imagine yourself falling and get over it. Like there's many ways to do that, but
Yeah.
so being high. So my thing is like I'm not afraid of falling or hurting myself as much as I am afraid of hurting someone else.
Yeah.
Because then that's another level of responsibility.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a pretty harrowing story. I'm imagining, like you said, like it taking an hour for that pin to fall. I also imagine like as the pin was falling, you try to catch it and hit it and made it go even faster. That's just in my
Oh, I
mind.
did. Oh
Yeah.
no, I'm like,
Yeah. Yeah, you released the projectile.
it's literally 5 seconds, and in your mind, it felt like it really does feel like forever. And we're like, I think we got there late. Like we started at like maybe 9 or 10 p.m. and we're gonna be there till like 6 a.m. the next day anyway.
Yeah.
So everybody's delirious and tired, and it's just like in that moment, it's like.
Did you get a nickname out of that?
Surprisingly, no. I was really surprised. I did not like. It's actually funny because enough guys from the union. The two nicknames I have, one are guys who actually listen to like Matt and Shane and you guys and call me Deedz or Durrdee Deedz.
Okay.
Or the most recent nickname I got was the Squirrel.
Oh,
Because
interesting.
I just get caffeinated and I climb things. So.
Well, you sound like a good time on the job site.
Well, I mean, I volunteer to go climb to grab things.
Yeah.
I'm good at heights.
I mean that. You sound like a good time on the job site. Yeah. So first, thank you for sharing that.
Mm-hmm.
That is a fear chakra unlocked.
Yes.
You almost who was that?
I almost killed
Aries.
Colin
You almost
Peters.
Apollo'd somebody from the sky.
Yeah.
You almost got somebody with an arrow from the sky.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
And of all people, it's the guy who runs all the safety courses across the country for this thing.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, if there's anybody you should not piss off or fuck up around.
Or should.
Yeah.
Get that buzzkill out of here.
Oh, yeah.
Get Mr. Safety out of here so we can have a good time on the job site. But that is a fear chakra unlocked, Dorian. Ace, keep it moving.
All right, Dorian, we are to the pelvis chakra. So this little segment we like to call My Bad. So it's an opportunity for you to apologize to a person, place, or thing in order to set your karma back to neutral.
Oof.
We just got done doing Dorian's Patreon episode, and hell yeah.
No other words.
Yeah, $1 gets you all of our exclusive content on our Patreon, which not only includes the counter to the podcast you're watching right now, which is called Two Jack Bros After Dark, where we will be enlightening Dorian's shadow self, but it also includes our commentary and analysis on Ansley's jiu-jitsu matches. So come and check that out. It's a good time. It's a lot of fun. Remember to check out Dorian's Baby Goblin Productions. And right now, we're going to get back to this episode and find out who or what Dorian has to apologize to.
I'll tell you right now, I don't know what it is about being an adult, but I don't apologize to other adults over dumb shit. But I still think back to like childhood, like mean things I did that make me like, fuck. Like I'll be brushing my teeth one day and I remember the girl I kicked in the stomach.
You kicked a girl in the stomach?
Yeah. Hey, look, I didn't say
Wait, how old are you?
Yeah, this is important.
Yeah.
I was
16.
3.
Okay.
And I have a very good memory. I remember this vividly because it's the first time I ever felt regret in my life. And
yeah. How old was she? Same age?
Yeah,
Younger?
I think we were all like we were all
you kicked
kids.
an infant in the stomach? Like what happened? Dorian?
we were in a party jumper, and
like the bouncy thing.
Yeah, the little bouncy house. So we're in
bouncy
there
house. I
and
thought
we're
you guys,
playing like
strapped in.
and we're all playing like, you know, we're all doing like pretend Power Rangers.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think anybody knew this girl. She just walked in and she just I call her Monster Girl whenever I think of this story because she's just running in and she's like growling and like she's being cute. But I remember in the moment I was like, I don't like this because she keeps like "Rawr," and she keeps like attacking me.
Yeah.
And then I just like turned around and just like threw a front kick.
Okay.
And I just it's the every time I think about it because I remember her face because it was like utter shock from taking a kick to like realizing what happened, the pain setting in, and her crying like in the bounce house. It's like, oh, I just ruined fun for everybody.
Definitely the Power Rangers for her. Let me ask you this question. This is I don't know why
I'll
this
tell
is
you
so,
I'll tell you what made it worse.
Yeah. Oh, well, that might be the question I'm asking.
Okay.
Which Ranger were you pretending to be?
My favorite to this date was the Blue Ranger.
Oh, thank God. Wasn't the Black Ranger. I'm like, thank God. Oh, please tell me this boy didn't channel the Black Ranger and kick a chick in the stomach.
No, I was always Team Billy. I like the Triceratops.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Score 1 for the Black Ranger.
Yeah, no, I wasn't like cool. Like, didn't have moves.
Because you remember the Black Ranger was also a black guy.
Yeah.
And that would have been.
And his fighting style was hip hop keto.
All right, so what were you gonna say made it worse?
No, what made it worse was I did not get in trouble for it. Which only like it's the one time
Blue Ranger got to do what the Blue Ranger do.
Yeah, no, it was like, hey, that's it was a weird privilege. No, but my brother came by, he rubbed her tummy, and he was like trying to make. And you're
not crying. It's cool. No, it was cool.
No. But my brother was like consoling her, and then he gave me a look, and this is the same brother that like fucking, you know, he's an older brother, tortured me my whole life. Now. But it's like, what's that?
So now I'm imagining a Mentos commercial. He's like rubbing her belly, like, oh, it's okay, and he looks at you and he's like, good job, Dorian.
Yeah.
Misogyny. It's like,
but yeah, he gave you a look.
But it was like the only. It's the only time that brother could judge me for shit because he's just been like an asshole the rest of my entire life. Mm-hmm. But it was like one of those things where he's like, we're not gonna tell anybody about this. But I was like, I should have totally gotten in trouble for that.
Yeah.
He was like, and since then I've always been like, I was like, I don't even know this girl's name. I don't think I've ever seen her again. But it's like, dude, it was one of those things like if I could look up this scenario on like Facebook and find this person, I would apologize, and I'm sure they still remember. Like,
yeah.
But we're both anonymous to each other.
Yeah. Like, if you're going to be a monster to people, you might get kicked in the stomach. You got to have your defense up.
Oh, I never thought about that. Like, I thought about that, but it's even like...
Yeah, she was like, being a monster, not for me.
Yeah.
Okay. For me.
I got cured of monsterism.
Yeah, that's big.
By this angry child.
Yeah.
I mean, well, you know, you were just like a little lesson from the sky.
Yeah.
A lot of aerial shit with this guy.
Yeah, yeah.
You channeled the Blue Ranger, and then Liu Kang kicked this chick in the stomach. A non-Mortal Kombat character. What are the bad guys in? I kept thinking Zord. What is a Zord?
No, Zords are the machine
that they turn into.
They're robots.
Yeah, they're robots.
The bad guys are just monsters.
Were they putties? What were they called?
Putties were they were like the henchmen that they say. So the 3-act structure is it's perfect when Saban stuff because you got first act is whatever their school shit is.
Yeah.
Bulk and Skull do something stupid.
Mm-hmm.
They're out in the street. For some reason, they're always out in the desert. The putties show up. They fight them. The monster shows up with the putties, overpowers them. Then they come back like, all right, we're going to fuck this dude up now that we remember how to transform. They transform. They get monster grows. They grow, you know, they assemble. Then they kill the monster. The only break in formula was when, like, they got the Green Ranger, and he's like, no, I'm going to fuck you guys up, too.
Yeah.
And it was like, all right.
So, again, what were those monsters called?
Monsters.
Just monsters?
Yeah.
All
right. And putties. Well,
all right, monsters and putties. All right, cool. I feel like you were partially defending why the Power Rangers didn't call the monsters anything more than monsters for a second. You were like,
It's like,
listen, I know they only called them monsters, but it's a very detailed 3-act structure.
yeah,
No time for that.
Yeah.
I think kaiju was taken, so you couldn't call
Yeah.
it that. That's
All
like
of the
one those-
writing went into everything around the monsters, guys.
Yeah.
You got to pay attention. Power Rangers, it's classic. All right, cool. So that's a good apology.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah,
My
no,
bad. Didn't mean to kick you out of monsterness.
yeah. I didn't mean to ruin fun for you. Is
Yeah.
really what it is.
All
It's
right.
like, it
Well, we
was-
don't know. Again, that could have made her
it made
attack fun a completely different way.
Yeah.
Oh, it was the first time. I think it was the first time I've ever been a buzzkill. That's why I'm
Yeah.
like, I just ruined I just ruined this for everybody.
Yeah. She could have been
Did
like,
the whole thing shut down? Like
No,
everybody
no, it didn't.
Everybody else.
they deflated.
Yeah.
He was like, you know what? No more fucking bouncing.
Yeah.
Like, just-
Yeah, and she.
oh, if it got to that point, then I would have probably killed myself.
Yeah.
Like, oh damn, everyone hates me.
Yeah.
It's just funny to me, like her, like doubled over in pain, like, and he's like rubbing her stomach, like, "Oh, you're okay." She's like, "No, I get it. I'm not the make an entrance type of a person. I should have just came in soft. I get it."
Yeah.
All right.
No, if it was like if this was someone who was annoying other people and they were all like, "Oh, thank God somebody did it," I would
Yeah.
feel completely different about
Yeah.
the situation.
That's an honor kicking.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because there's people like that where it's like, oh, it's like which I have attacked somebody who was just making the day worse at a late, in something else,
Yeah.
and it's just like, oh, that's totally different.
Yeah. Than kicking a chick in
Yeah,
the stomach
that's-
in a bounty house for sure.
That's like your friend, like people who weren't there find out the next day and are like, you know what, you did good. Like,
Yeah.
It's like it's not the same.
All right. Well, we'll consider that a pelvis chakra unlock. My bad.
Yeah, I'm sorry I kicked you in the pelvis.
Yeah. So Ace, let's get it.
All right, we are to the gut chakra now. So Dorian, how do you move past disappointment either in yourself or in loved ones?
Oof. I stop talking to people if I'm disappointed and like I don't know. I think it's like when they say like just give people time. You just got to walk away from shit for like a while.
Mm-hmm.
As far as disappointing myself, I mean, I just dwell on it until a podcast asks me the question at one point. It's like ask Reddit. Like you got to go through and you got to find the question for your answer.
Mm.
How long was the longest that you haven't talked to somebody?
That's a good one. Probably currently it's a family member. But
Brother?
close. But no.
What's close to a brother? Sister?
No, actually, one of my aunts I haven't talked to for years because well, it's actually really shitty. If you guys want to hear this story, this is one of my aunts who lives in I don't talk to pretty much anyone on my dad's side of the family anymore.
Okay.
And one of the reasons is one, they embezzled a shit ton of his money.
Ooh.
They burned down the house he was supposed to inherit from my grandmother.
Ooh.
Well, that's just part of embezzlement.
Oh yeah. Oh well.
That's one thing, by the way.
Well, no, he was sending money out there for someone to put. He like trusted it to people to put into a bank.
Yeah.
They burned his house down, or they like they fucked up their house, like my mom and dad's house. But the one that like really like the like straw that broke the camel's back was one of my aunts one day decided to spread a rumor that my mom went missing.
Mm.
And I was like, I like just moved to Philadelphia, but I went to Los Angeles for a festival, and I just get this like random call from like my cousin's wife who's like, "Hey, have you heard from your mom? Because they're telling us that she went missing." And I'm like, "What?" And like the call drops, so I'm like texting her,
Yeah.
and she's not responding for like an hour, and I'm like frantically calling everyone else. I'm like calling my brother and everything. Like, dude, go buy a fucking phone card and call the house, see what's going on. Maybe like 2-3 hours pass. I'm like just freaking out for the whole like the whole duration of that, and then I was like, oh, I gotta go on stage right now.
Yeah.
So I go on stage, and I'm like, I don't exactly tell people. I'm like, hey guys, so I'm dealing with something. So if I feel a little out of it, and I just proceed to do my set. It goes okay. I get off, and I'm like still freaking out. My brother calls me back. He's like, "Are you a fucking idiot? Because mom's fine. She like just went to the store."
Mm.
It was like one of those situations, and I'm like, "What the fuck?" Then my cousin's wife finally responds to me. He was like, "I'm like, what the fuck? How come you just left me? You just left me on red?" And she said, "Oh, I'm sorry. I fell asleep."
Yeah, that was some.
It was like
tiring
way to
news.
fall asleep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like one of those things. And it's like, did you ever find out about your mom? And it's like, yes. And it turned out she just went to the store. What had actually happened was like, one of my, I think it was my uncle or my cousin, somebody went to the house to visit my dad and saw my mom wasn't there. And my dad was like, oh, I don't know. She went out. And that ballooned into, I don't know what, but it was like, this is the aunt who like spread this rumor that my mom went missing is also the one who would like call me to like guilt trip me and do weird shit. Like, how come you don't call your mom and dad? They're lonely. Like, she's just like a frantic human being. And it's like, you don't know what the fuck I do. It was like one of those kinds of things. And that day, I remember I finally got on the phone. I freaked out the Uber that was taking me back to my place because I'm like screaming at her on the phone, calling her all kinds of, C word, this and that. And I'm just going off and like, dude, you guys fucked my parents over. You fucking treated them like shit. You took all of his money. You burned down their their house. Now you're telling me all this shit. And in my head, I'm like, dude, how do you tell somebody their fucking mom is missing?
Yeah.
And and then she hit me back with the old people go fuck yourself, I'm gonna pray for you. Which I was just like, never fucking talk to me ever again. Like,
or pray for me, by the way.
Yeah. When my dad, like, she never, like, to this day, I don't talk to her. Like, I think she like I think she tried to call when like my dad was in the hospital or after he passed away, and I was like, someone else talk to her because I'm gonna end up like.
How long ago was that?
That was 2017. Because that was the year I moved to Philly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How did they burn down the house? And did they get caught?
Oh, I have no idea. I know the house was, I know the house itself was it was kind of shitty. It belonged to my grandmother and they never really took care of it that well. It was a nice house. It was in a good part. It was in Belize in Dangriga, which is like a really decent area. You can get to the Keys from there.
I'm sorry. I'm stupid. You said it was in Belize, right? And my ignorance, aren't houses in Belize pretty flammable? Right? Right? Am I wrong?
No, most houses are actually made out of stone. Actually, so maybe not.
That's a good question.
Yeah.
But that's fair. This one happened to be made out of wood, which is why it was already like it should have been demolished anyway. But the whole thing was like, if my dad gets the house, that means he gets this land in prime location.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, if that's the case, then it's like the rumor that went around is that my aunts were talking about they'd burn this place down if it ended up going to my dad.
I told you that's part of the embezzlement.
And then it's like, oh, the house just somehow caught fire.
Yeah.
So
go figure.
Yeah, it's a weird situation. So
listen,
the rest of the Vasquez family, you can go fuck yourself. Never talk to me or mine again.
All right, not typically what we do on this podcast, but you heard him. You fucking heard him. So Dorian, I always like to ask people this question. So did you do sports or maybe performance arts growing up where there is like a disappointment that lingers from that event?
Not sports, but I do. I'm a filmmaker, so like more now than I was. Like I kind of I got away from comedy a little bit to dive more into filmmaking. I think that was more where I got more disappointed than anything else. Because, I mean, with comedy, it's like there's like people will be like, "Oh yeah, we'll totally go to your show," and just not show up.
Mm-hmm.
I never really cared about that. Even when I did sports, it's like, who cares? But, I think I worked really hard on a short film, and I got it into a couple festivals, and I was like so proud of myself because I got into like the Philly Independent Film Festival, which is like. It's not the biggest one, but it's like, oh, that's a pretty big deal.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's like the event I go to, I see everybody like packing into the place. Because there's also like this like cool new restaurant on like, it's like in a school on the top of the building. They turned it into like this bar and grill kind of thing.
Wasn't it Bach?
I think so. It's it's one of those. Yeah, actually. And then it's like, oh, there's like a giant theater. All these people are here. I get in there and there's like 6 people in the theater. And I'm just like, all right, this is... I think at one point I even brought it up in a Q&A because they were like trying to ask me questions, and I'm just like, yeah. They're like, well, what advice can you give other filmmakers? I was like, work really hard and you can get your shit into a poorly attended festival. I was like so mad.
Yeah.
That was like, I don't know. I'm not a sportsman. They don't bum me out.
Yeah, you don't have to be. But so how did you deal with that disappointment then? Because I know.
I just made the situation funny.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I said that I ended up making a couple friends out of that, and actually, guys I like kind of were trading on working for each other on movie stuff.
Yeah. So now, other than not talking to loved ones when you are disappointed in them, how then would you I guess quantify how it is that you deal with disappointment from yourself?
Oh, for myself, kind of honestly the same way I deal with the car. Probably it's like, all right, well, this happened. Shit, can't dwell on me forever. I mean, I know. I'm still gonna go to sleep tonight. So let's go to. All right, what can we do to rectify it? Is there enough time to do that? Is the timing even right? If not, let's wait a little while. We'll go do other things for the meantime.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes total sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm learning to not give a shit has definitely helped me get past a lot of things.
Hell yeah.
Except family.
Yeah. Which nobody's perfect.
Yeah.
Nobody's perfect. And you heard that, Vasquez.
Yeah.
All right. And we'll consider that a gut chakra unlocked.
Mm-hmm.
Ace, let's
Yes.
go.
All right, we are now to the heart chakra. So, Dorian, what have you learned from grief?
Ooh, that's a good one. See, after my dad died, definitely learning how to like get calm was a big one. It's like just learning how to find that place of like, okay, I need to be finding out it's okay to be alone and to like just to have everything around you be quiet was a big thing. 'Cause yeah, like I started going fishing a lot more after my dad died, and I realized that was really calming for me because it was just me sitting there with nothing but like my own thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
And even then, after a while, your thoughts go away, and it's just I'm just in a moment right now, like nothing matters. And then a fish comes, and it's like, holy shit, this is crazy.
Yeah.
Like it's like just snaps you back in.
Now, so was it when your dad died? Was it loud? And what I mean by that is like in any capacity, was it loud? Like were people loud? Was the pain loud? Like what is how did that experience show you that you needed the quiet and calmness?
Okay, well I had to go back home to and not even home. I had to go to fucking Ohio, which I'm not like we're from Los Angeles. My family moved there.
Mm-hmm.
My mom was there with him. My mom and my brother found him in the morning because he was apparently fine, but he was acting funny the night before, which isn't anything new. My dad, he was older guy, just kind of crotchety after a while.
Yeah.
But they thought he like fell asleep on the couch, and he was just laying on the couch, and they didn't even notice. And then they finally realized, oh, this man isn't breathing.
Mm.
I'm at work, and I get a message about it, and I'm like, holy shit. And then so I'm like, okay, I don't know what I'm gonna do, but I have to figure out how to get out there.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I can't leave right now, but I gotta figure it out. That night, I got into my car and I drove to Ohio. I was like telling them like, oh, I'll buy a ticket or something. I was like, no, fuck that, we gotta go now.
Yeah.
I get there and I see my mom. She's crying and everything. So I'm there with my mom for a couple weeks, and I got to come back and work on a movie. But the big thing was trying to like focus on like, okay, this is about my dad passing and about everything going on, and then just like something like it would be like the randomest thing to set someone off. Be like, hey, also I didn't like that thing you did back during the pandemic, and it's like, not the fucking time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, it kind of like, I was still kind of in shock. So it took a long time. Like, I don't know. You ever have that where you don't cry when someone dies, but it'll be like you listen to a fucking Creedence song or something. And then it's like, it all just hits you at once. I had one of those moments, but before that, it was just a lot of quiet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like in my own head, like everything just went like quiet. I don't know how to explain it.
Yeah. So, I mean, you're saying like the moment before you cried, it went all quiet?
Oh no! When I finally like watching my mom cry actually made me cry.
Okay, and then
but like
after the cry, it all went quiet.
Yeah, for a while.
Okay,
and then it was like I got back and I'm just like, well, I don't really feel like doing anything anymore. Versus like I've had friends die who immediately I'm like in tears, I'm weeping, I'm like, oh fuck, that's my fucking bro. My dad, it was like it took weeks, and it was like I had to go do things that I knew he was doing, and then I went back home with my mom, and it was like I look like my dad, so everybody thought I was him when I went back, and they were like, I heard, oh, you're not him, and it was like, oh fuck. and then getting away from everyone that was gonna like remind me of that, and like having to like think of my dad my own way kind of helped me.
Okay.
If that makes sense. It's like, yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, no, it makes sense.
I'm over explaining.
Yeah, no, you're not over explaining at all. I mean, it's I think this section is probably where we get the most messages from, or not. That's not even true. But I guess it's the messages that we get about this section, I think, tend to impact me more, right? Because it tends to come from people that were dealing with a situation and they were having a hard time maybe explaining it or maybe accepting the way that they naturally were dealing with the grief situation. Like some people have, I've noticed that that's something that people seem to have a hard time with. Like
What, dealing with grief?
Judging how they're dealing with grief.
Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you, man, like it's hard. Like it's not the same as like, oh, I lost a pet.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone's like, oh, that's a good, but like losing a pet or something early on is that's a good practice.
Yeah.
That's why you get, that's like, honestly, if I had kids, that's why we would get pets.
So they could die.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no,
yeah.
And I think that's like
goldfish.
I think that's a bit. That might have been like a Louis bit or something. But it's like, yeah, you practice for when grandma or when something happens, and it's like, honestly, just getting away from everything is kind of my thing.
Yeah. So what I meant when I was saying that, like when you were saying like you didn't cry, right? There are people that, and they'll experience grief and they're not crying, right? And they'll be sitting there the whole entire time with guilt because they're like, why am I not crying?
Oh yeah, no,
Why
that's
am I not
exactly
crying?
what's going through my head the entire time. I'm like, I should be way sadder about this, like, because I'm also comparing it to like when Cotton died.
Mm-hmm.
If you guys don't know, Chris Cotton is one of the best comics in the city. He was a very good friend of mine. I was supposed to go hang out with him that weekend that we found out he passed. And I remember weeping like when I found out.
Mm-hmm.
And like I've always been a sensitive kid, so it was like when I found out my dad passed, it was like, and I'm seeing my mom cry, and I'm like, okay, it hasn't happened yet.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna happen. It's probably gonna be bad. And then it was like, it was kind of being strong for someone else,
Mm-hmm.
but also it's like as soon as I got away and it was like I could process it, then it was like, holy shit, this is all coming out like right now.
Yeah. And that seems to be what kind of ends up reigning true, or what ends up being important, is that people allow themselves to grieve the way their body is grieving. Yeah. To not try to like force it and direct it any other kind of way, but just like you said, like do it the way that you're finding it to be done. Yeah. So yeah, thank you for sharing that, Dorian. Really appreciate that, man. That is a heart chakra unlocked.
Yes.
Ace.
We are now to the throat chakra. So Dorian, what is a favorite lie that you have told, or that you are currently telling? Extra karmic points if it's still in rotation.
Oh, the constant lie I tell is I don't ever tell people that I never let anyone borrow my shit.
Wait, say that one more time.
I never let anybody borrow anything from me.
Yeah.
But I just come up with a reason for why I can't loan it out. Oh, so that's in use right now. That's this and that. Because I've had way too much shit like borrowed, either returned wrong or just not come back. Mm-hmm. And now I realize, oh, the shit I own that people want to borrow is way more expensive than, say, fucking Enter the Matrix on PS2. It's like, it's like real, like now it's like, oh no, that's my livelihood. No, you cannot have that. Yeah. And depending on how much I like somebody, I'll be like, I'll just be like flat out no versus.
The more you like them, the more you'll say no. The
more I like them, the more I'm willing to lie about why they
more
can't.
elaborate the lie is.
Oh.
Yeah.
So
if I don't like somebody, it's like fuck you. Like no.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or it's either really don't like you or it's a good friend, and I'm just like, I'm not gonna let you borrow that stupid. Like then it's like, I don't know. It's a spectrum.
I'd rather get the straight no. Personally.
Oh yeah, no. Friends get the straight no. And then like people who I'm like, get the. I'm actually kind of using that right now, man. Like we're gearing up for a thing. I need all the things. Yeah. I need all my things
for the thing.
For the thing I'm doing.
Yeah, you can't because I am.
Yeah. If I've given you an excuse lie, I probably don't like you that much. That's kind of what that means.
All right. Well, that's good for people to know.
Yeah, now you know where you stand.
Yeah. Man, Dorian's getting it off his chest today.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No, I watched like 3 episodes. I'm like, ooh, try to be funnier, but Jesus, this is a lot. This is a good.
Yeah.
This is a good Zen day.
Yeah. First of all, fuck you, Vasquez's, and no, you can't borrow my shit, friends.
I know. I love that I'm gonna walk out of here and just reach nirvana. That's,
Yeah. I mean, we hope. Or you're gonna leave here and start a feud. I don't know what's gonna happen,
Yeah, no,
Dorian. You might be you're the first person to ever show up early, and you might be the first person to leave and start smoke. We actually go cause problems. But so all right, that is a throat chakra unlock.
Yeah.
Yeah. He doesn't let anybody borrow his shit, but maybe next time because he's using it right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always give them maybe next time. Yeah, no, there won't be a next time.
Yeah. Throat chakra unlocked and extra karmic points for a currently in rotation.
Yeah.
lot. So,
Yeah.
oh yeah. Let's go, Ace.
All right, we are to the third eye chakra now. So we're out of
right.
the physical into the metaphysical. So Dorian, what is something that you've always thought of as separate, but as you've gotten older, you're realizing it's really the same?
Oof. I don't. I'm not sure I understand that question. It's. Yeah. I don't. I'm sorry. Is there an example or something that you can give me for that one? That's.
Yeah.
I've listened to a couple episodes. And I'm like, I still don't get that one. Too.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, let's parse it out before we give an example first.
Okay.
So life throws things at us and tells us what things are, right?
Yeah.
This is that. And then as you get older, you might not see those things being the same way that life told you they were.
Okay.
Yeah.
But okay, so the question is what you thought was different but is actually similar?
Mhm.
Is that the Ooh, all right. Well, I'm going to go with the very basic one. Comedy and everything else is kind of similar.
Okay. How so?
So I've been getting into filmmaking a lot more.
Mhm.
I'm making a movie right now. One of the things I found that's now, and people in these things are very different. Like actors and comedians on set are very like comedians will fuck off and go like smoke weed in the car and be like, dude, we got to be on set right now. Like everyone procrastinates. Whereas these guys are like, I want to be there. I'm going to do the thing. We're here. But at the same time, like the that selfish mindset of like, I have a great joke. I have this fantastic idea. Oh man, you guys are the same person.
Yeah.
It's like, and it's the same on the other end of it. Like,
Wait, so the mindset of I have a great joke, I have a fantastic idea is similar to what mindset in filmmaking?
no, I'm saying that's what I mean is like somebody thinks they have like the best idea for a film or they have a phenomenal thing. It's like, oh, like, and it's like, oh no, you're just you're doing the thing that someone else did.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, it's the equivalent of going to an open mic. You hear the guy be like, tell that one joke you've heard a million times before.
Yeah.
I've seen like, I don't know how many like film people I know have done we're gonna poison the abusive loved one in the house kind of movie, or there's the killers in the basement kind of movie. It's like everybody is making something very similar to each other, and it's like some people are just not self-aware of it.
Yeah, it seems like. Are you saying hacks are everywhere? Is that what I'm hearing?
In a roundabout way, yes.
Okay.
But to be fair, I quantify hack because it's one thing if it's somebody who's just trying to put a thing out to like show, hey, look, we can do a thing.
Yeah.
Versus somebody who's like, oh, this is what I bank off of. Like,
yeah, and I guess that's really important to kind of contextualize because a lot of times people think when they get into this environment, oh, these people are going to be amazing, and it's like I'm going to get away. Like for me, like I came from like Pottstown, Pennsylvania, where I grew up. We didn't have a lot of money. We didn't have. I wasn't around like the most rational, logical people. Mm-hmm. And for me, it was like, oh, when I get to college, I'm going to be away from these fucking maniacs. I'm going to be in college with thinkers and people who are creating shit. And I get to college and it's like the same fucking idiots.
Yeah.
But with more money.
Yeah. And then it's the other stuff too, all the non thing we're doing things that factor their way in. Like, for example, comedy drama. I mean, you and I are both familiar with all the bullshit that you got to deal with in comedy. It has nothing to do with comedy.
For sure.
It's like, why is everybody afraid of this not funny person because they book a room or something?
Yeah.
And it's kind of the same thing with like, with film, it's like, why is everyone kissing this guy? Like, everybody is only kissing this guy's ass because he keeps making things, but all the things he makes are bad. Or like, and it's like, it's, you know, it's like I said, it's all context. Like,
yeah. So
like,
it's just
Michael Bay is a very respected filmmaker. You know what I mean? It's like, we all know those, like, it's like, not whether or not you like it or not, but I'm just using that as an example. Like, you know, this guy's movies are trash, but everybody will.
Damn, Dorian. Good
People-
God. I didn't know where that was going to go at first.
But
it was like, but he is fucking putting his hit list out there right now.
But no, but what I'm getting at, I mean, it's not a secret that a lot of people are like, oh yeah, the Transformers movies are stupid or whatever. But it's like, dude, I will stiff arm everybody and their mom needs to get out of my way if I get the call to be in Transformers 12 or whatever.
Stomach kick you all.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
His stomach kick his way to the front of the river
Oh,
line.
dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
sounds like a
No matter what thing you get in, you sacrifice a little dignity. I've realized it's.
Okay. So
Yeah.
now if we had to, Ace, well, let me ask you this question, Ace. If we had to tagline what it is that we just heard,
Yeah.
how would you say it? So what did Dorian just tell us he thought was separate and now is learning the same?
He thought at like some level, like different professions had integrity, and really they're all just fuck faces trying to get to the top.
Yeah, I'm not trying to be that
Yes,
I'm a very negative man. I'll admit I'll admit I'm very negative, but it's like, yeah.
But it's all a game, right?
Yeah.
Like you've got to play the
Yeah.
game in everywhere you are, and
that's-
everybody's playing it.
That's the one thing. Like, honestly, I've put myself in that position a lot where it's like, damn, I wish more people would have more integrity about things. But yeah,
Yeah.
integrity is a big deal for me.
And listen, I'll tell you, like we're gonna make jokes about it, but like I'm not hearing what you're saying and thinking, man, he's negative.
Yeah.
If that's what you see, that's what you see.
Yeah.
That's the truth. The truth isn't negative or positive. It's just the truth.
It's just there.
It's
yeah.
just the truth, right? And so, but damn, Dorian, no, I'm just kidding. All right, so if we're keeping score, take that, every other member of the Vasquez family, take that kind of associates that want to borrow my shit, and take that, Michael Bay.
Yeah. But seriously, if Michael Bay wants to hire me, I will totally sell.
Also,
out
take
to-
that, Michael Bay.
Yo,
Two things can be true, Michael Bay. That's what we're trying to tell
yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Yo, fuck you, but I totally need a job. Like,
Yeah.
I'm trying to make movies, man.
Yeah, Michael Bay, come see him. All right.
I will give you a plot for your explosions, bro. Like, that's
Yeah. Also, Michael Bay, I love the Transformers movies, but I'm an idiot. So there's
No, the first one is
'Cause-
really good, and I think I heard that the one with Mark Wahlberg was good.
when you were saying I would stiff arm anybody, my brain was like, yeah, to see the next Transformers movie, sure, get out of my way. This line shouldn't be so long. But Dorian, thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
By the way, that is a third eye chakra unlocked.
Yes.
Yeah, you fuck faces. All right, Ace, let's go.
All right, we are to the crown chakra. Final question. It's 2 parts. So, what's one thing that you can't give up, and why? And what would giving it up mean?
Yeah, that's a hard one. Something I would never give up. Now, okay, see, this is hard because I'm like, oh, I'll throw a lot of shit away.
Mm-hmm.
Probably writing. Like that's a like whether it's comedy or whatever. I think like at the end of the day, it's writing that really is what I gravitated toward.
Wow. Now, is this because you're trying to like shed some of the negative connotations of what it means to be a rigger? Because if you say riggers can't read, there's a lot of people think that. A lot of people think riggers don't read. They hate reading. They make fun of people who
No,
like to-
it's not that riggers can't read. It's that riggers have invented their own language to read from. That's one thing a lot of people don't know.
Ebonics.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, honestly, like
Can I get a pen?
no. Hey, if we want to go back to the everything's the same question, people need to hurry up.
Yes, but I'm sorry. So right.
No, that's funny. No, at the end of the day, writing is, I think, is the base of all of this stuff. Like, because it's all no matter which form of expression you go through, you still have to write it down in order to understand. Like, and even if you don't, like, you have to have some way of like communicating it. Otherwise, I'm up on stage, just like talking shit until I get a nugget of information.
Yeah.
Which I love doing, but it's not as like when I write something and I organize it. I'll tell you, finishing a script or like writing down a set list is like the same. Like I remember the first time I wrote down like, and I tried to write it word for word like which I don't almost never do, but when I first wrote like a word for word like 15-20 minute set to take on the road, or like a 30-minute set, it was like, holy shit, this works. Everything works together. It flows here. It's like you found everything. Same thing when I like wrote a script. Like finding like, I don't know how to end this fucking thing, and I'll put it away for like a year, and then just one day it hits me, and then I gotta go back, and it's like, oh, that works better there. This has got to take out, got to move things around. At the end of the day, just getting it on paper and writing, I can never like. That's one thing I never stop writing.
That's fair. I'm gonna say this just because I keep thinking it, and it doesn't necessarily have anything to do with what you said, but it kind of does. But record keeping is one of the first things that separated.
Like people.
Well, so it separated
people,
it separated somebody from being a collection of nations.
Mm-hmm.
It was the difference between being a collection of nations and an empire, right? Where like the Persians were like the first real empire, and they did it because of like sick record keeping.
Yeah.
That was it. They just like kept track of shit, and suddenly they were the best.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, no, like
Underrated,
honestly,
man.
one of the worst feelings in the world is, what was that fucking joke I used to tell that like losing a notebook is one of the worst things you could lose. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's
You're a notebook guy, like
oh yeah,
you're writing. It's like
for a long time I was a
pen and-
notebook, but lately it's been on my phone.
Ah.
So which is like why I can't like throw away my phone after I like upgrade or whatever. But it's like, yeah, so long as it's there, it has to be there. I lost like a bunch of notebooks in a move, and I'm just like, oh.
Yeah.
But at the same, it was like first year jokes, but it's first year jokes that could have been worked on.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I forgot the premise too.
Yeah.
Okay, so Dorian, what would it mean for you to give up writing?
Oof, that's probably most expression at the end of the, like, I mean, I keep saying that fucking phrase. I hate myself for that.
Wait, what phrase?
At the end of the day, I hate that phrase, and I keep saying it.
It doesn't sound like you hate it then. Why do you? Do you not like?
No, it's a verbal tick because I'm a little nervous, is what it is.
Yeah.
No, but like not writing is, like you said, it's not keeping a record. And not keeping a record means I can't go back and figure out the thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's and that works with everything. Like if I have a recipe, oh, I forgot this one thing, but I don't remember what that thing was. Well, I wrote it down. Where did it go?
Yeah. All right. That makes a lot of sense.
Hey man, that's how you keep a memory.
Yeah, and while we're on the subject of keeping a memory, and in this section of like, did anything you just said inspire you to cast shade on anyone?
No, but I can probably find.
No, we'll take the hat trick and just move on. There's nothing.
That was
We'll take the 3. Yeah. We got 3 out of you.
Oh, I can find a 4th one.
Yeah. No, we don't break the 4th wall on this podcast. But Dort, that was it, man. How do you feel?
Zen. I don't know.
Hell yeah.
I feel all right. I'm like,
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we still have a Patreon to do. Actually, I didn't even ask you. Do you have time to stick around for the Patreon?
oh yeah.
Hell yeah. And we didn't even mention it, but $1 gets you all of our exclusive content, which not only includes the counter to this podcast you're watching right now, which we call 2 Jack Bros After Dark, but we also have some fight commentary and analysis on Ansley's jiu-jitsu matches, which I'm pretty sure you can, the last one, right before this episode in the Patreon, you could see it, and there should be one after this in the Patreon. So we'll see.
Yeah.
But anyway, Dorian, thank you so much.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Remember to check out Baby Goblin Productions and the forthcoming film, Porch Pirate, from Dorian Vasquez.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
Oh, shit. Sorry. Yeah. Baby Goblin Productions on YouTube, everything. By babygoblinproductions.com or Durrdee Deedz on Instagram.
Hell yeah. Guys, thank you so much for watching. We love you guys, and we are out.
See ya.
2 Jack Bros.